to What's Right with the World with your host, Glenn Ambrose.
Hello, welcome to the show, everybody. We are talking about what's right with the world, and I have no idea what Ben is going to say.
Oh, I think you're going to be excited about this one. So this is actually a local story for us.
Local?
Yeah, semi-local. I mean,
Good.
Rhode Island's not that small, not that big of a place. So this comes from abc6.com, but there's a ton of different places that you could find it. We're talking about Goodnight Lights. Goodnight Lights is something that Providence does, and has done for years now, for the kids at Hasbro Children's Hospital. And I'll give you a little bit of background on it before, but
That's where my son got his tonsils out,
okay.
but I don't know about this.
So Dunkin' Donuts this is why it's in the news right now. Dunkin' Donuts has partnered with Goodnight Lights and Hasbro Children's Hospital for this year's annual Iced Coffee Day. The company announced Saturday that in honor of their annual event on May 23rd, that donates $1 for every iced coffee sold in stores in Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts to Hasbro Children's Hospital, they will also be promoting the Goodnight Lights program in stores, social media, and a television commercial. Goodnight Lights is a program that was started by a volunteer at the hospital as a way for the city of Providence to say goodnight to their young patients. Local businesses like Hot Club, visible from the hospital, flash their lights every night at 8:30 p.m. So a volunteer at the hospital he felt like the kids were they wanted to know that people outside of the hospital were thinking of them.
Yeah.
And you've seen Hasbro Children's Hospital. It's towering above 95 and like the entire city of Providence.
Right.
And so he went to a park and he had a bike and he told everybody where to look. And he said that at 8:30 he was going to flash the light on his bike.
Huh.
And he started doing that, and then other people heard about it, and now almost the entire city goes dark at 8:30
Wow.
for 1 minute.
I can't believe I never heard of that.
Yeah, so
That's
it's a
awesome.
huge thing, and Dunkin' Donuts has the iced coffee day every year where they donate $1 for every iced coffee to Hasbro Children's Hospital, and this year they've decided to partner with Goodnight Lights and to raise awareness of it, and they're making a television commercial.
Oh, nice.
That's gonna sponsor it. So
there we go. So it started with one person.
started with one volunteer who wanted the kids to know that somebody outside the hospital was thinking about them.
That is, that's the root of everything. That's the one person can't make a difference. Do people even say that anymore?
No one's that stupid.
Yeah, I'm sure some people do, but you used to hear that all the time. I don't know. Hopefully people aren't still thinking like that because, there's just countless examples where it's not true, and this is one of them. So, one person starts with that, and then people are like, oh, wow, and it's not always about money, it's just about showing that you care, and people can do that, and that's the biggest fuel that we have to, kids with no hope don't get better, kids with hope do, and just knowing that other people are thinking of them can give them that hope that they need and that strength that they need to work through the difficult things that they're facing.
This is such a beautiful story. The whole thing. The fact that, like these big businesses go dark for a minute.
Yeah.
And restaurants and like everybody, they just turn off their sign.
Yeah.
For a minute.
Just for these kids.
Yeah.
And, you want some inspiration too. Boy, I'll tell you, you see some of these kids that are dealing with difficult situations. A friend of mine that I grew up with in Massachusetts lives in Rhode Island now, and her daughter has gone through it still is going through the cancer journey. And it's like, man, you see the kids that go through that, and like, of course they have down days and stuff, but it's different than watching an adult go through stuff, you know. And there's, you know, some adults handle things well and some don't, and same with kids. But boy, it seems like the kids that you see are just that much more resilient and that much more kind of accepting, okay, this is what I need to do, and then they just do it. And the strength that they can dig deep down inside and find is absolutely amazing. And that's not to mention the siblings.
Right.
You know, the siblings are very inspirational to me too. When I see what these, you know, what these, a lot of the attention has to go towards the child that's struggling through the disease and whatnot. And the thing that the siblings go through is inspirational as well, the strength that they find. So it's, you know.
I mean, a few years ago, there was a little boy in Westerly, where I live here in Rhode Island, that, like, I don't know, it seemed like it captivated the world.
Yeah.
You know, Dorian,
Right.
the whole D-Strong phenomenon. I mean, like, there wasn't a celebrity or a TV show or a news show that wasn't covering this little boy's journey.
Right. Yeah, and it is inspirational.
And he was an inspiration to millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy and awesome.
We can learn so much from these kids, and it's, you know, it's sometimes we look at adults and we just go, well, you know, maybe it was their choices, or, you know, I don't know. I guess it's kind of easier to not be as sympathetic, but you see a child going through something difficult like this, and everybody's heart opens, you know. So it's which is wonderful, because that's what we need in this world, is open hearts. So, you know, hopefully we can get it without without children suffering, but you know, it really is nice to see what we can do, that these children can spark ideas and communities coming together to just show their support and their love to these kids. It's awesome.
Glenn, you know how cool this story is? And this will affect you, listeners to this show. If you're a fan of Life Lessons and Laughter, and you have been since the beginning, you'll get it. This is the first episode of What's Right with the World where the topic came from our other producer, Dave.
Oh, he came up with this?
He was like, he told me about the Goodnight Lights thing and was like, you should talk about this on the podcast.
Nice.
It's amazing. Like, it's incredible. And for Dave to be moved by a story, to have people to be like, you should do that on that podcast is great. But that's a personal thing for us. And again, if you listen to Life Lessons and Laughter, you'll know how jaded he can be. But it's so cool. And you know, I as well personally know somebody who's currently having a fight for their life in Hasbro right now, and anything that people can do to give these kids hope is so phenomenal. And
it's
bravo
happening.
on Dunkin' Donuts for they are a local company here that's national. That's not the reason why we've talked about them twice in the last 6 months. They just happen to be doing some pretty cool stuff.
Right.
You know,
and it's so you know, if they come up every once in a while as getting kudos, well, then they've earned them, you know. So
absolutely.
So it's it is beautiful to see this stuff, and it is, you know, beautiful to see people moved and open up towards these solutions, and just sharing the love and the hope and the support. You know, hey, we're thinking of you. You're not alone. You know, we support you. It just doesn't get any better than that. So yeah, this was a phenomenal story, and
maybe you can everywhere you are there. I'm sure there's a children's hospital near you. Maybe you could find some way to
get this idea to them.
To get this idea to them, or, you know, do something else. That's
right, or
cool.
something else. You know, so there is a lot of support, you know, for these kids in different ways. Which I remember I was doing like a toy drive many years ago at a gym I was working at, and I contacted Hasbro, and they were very specific with what they needed. And this was at the time. I don't know if they're always like this, but they had to be very specific with what could be donated. So specific that I couldn't control it that much, and I ended up doing a Toys for Tots thing. But they were so specific because they do get support, and that's not to say stop supporting them. That's to say, look what's right with the world. You know, there's that is a good problem to have when a children's hospital can have the ability to be specific as to what they ask for donations. That's a good problem to have. That means that people in the community are caring and that are making donations, and we should continue to support them in that. So it's just another way I thought of with that particular place that shows that people around care and gives me hope.
So this is the longest episode that we've ever done of What's Right with the World, but it was worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for listening. Keep the hope and keep supporting all this good stuff going on.
Glenn is available for life coaching sessions, in person or via phone and Skype. To book an appointment or for more information, go to glennambrose.com, follow him on Facebook and Twitter, or click the link in the description of this episode.